is now called to order and you stand for our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and good evening, everyone. Dr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Benson. Here. Burton.
Here.
Chavez. Hayes. Myers. Williams. Here.
Okay, thank you. Just before we go into our scheduled meeting tonight, I'd just like to point out and say a few things concerning this water issue. We all know that all the confusion that has been surrounding the issue. I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow night at Bloom Trail High School at 7 o'clock, there will be a meeting from the Department of Health, IEPA, and the Attorney General will be there to answer any question that any citizen has or to clear up any confusion surrounding the Sauk Village water problem. So I am encouraging everyone to, if you got a problem or you got a question and you have some concern, please come out tomorrow night at Bloom Trail High School at 7 p.m. and you'll be able to get your concern, your question, and everything heard. Thank you. There's also ongoing water distribution here at the community center. We'll continue to do that on a regular basis. Sure, when we do have this schedule where when we'll be distributing water. And also, we've also set up a hotline. If you have a problem with question or a problem with receiving your water, you call the hotline and someone will get back to you. Thank you very much. So let's move to the report of Officer Village Clerk, Ms. Debbie Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Sauk Talk is on the back table and will be available on the internet tomorrow. And if you notice, the majority of the Sauk Talk is composed of different letters from the IPPA, different notices that we have received through the week. The notices that came after the Sauk Talk was sent to print are on the back table and will also be placed on the internet tomorrow. The hotline that Mr. Mayor referred to is in operation and will remain in operation throughout this water emergency. Unfortunately, sometimes when people call the hotline, they have a tendency to talk for quite a while, and several people are still trying to get in and get their calls answered. I encourage you to keep trying to call until you get somebody to answer your call or to leave a message. After 5 o'clock, the recorder is on, and in the morning you pick up the messages and we do respond. The purpose of the hotline is to let people know when and where water is being distributed and any new information that comes up on a daily basis. The purpose of the hotline is also to inform residents who are handicapped or elderly or cannot otherwise pick up their own water. We have volunteers, especially the fire department, which is doing a fantastic job of getting water to residents who otherwise cannot pick it up themselves. Also, to find out updated information on a daily basis as soon as we get it, I refer people to the website, www.saukvillage.org. I also talked to Comcast today on channel 19 for those of you who are not on the computer and cannot get access to a municipal building or the library. When these same notices are posted, channel 19 is also running a newsreel in the loop to give you information about where the water is being distributed and any other information that you need to know. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move to the village manager, Ms. Henrietta Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the clerk mentioned earlier, we have our distribution of water here. We're doing 3 gallons of water per day at the community, at Hazel Community Center here at Sauk Village. I want to thank the volunteers that have worked so hard and diligent in our distribution center. Please contact my office if you care to volunteer during this time, and we want to thank everyone for the donation of their time as well as pieces of water. In the report, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Manager. Let's go to the village treasurer, Ms. Carmichael.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No report.
Thank you. Village attorney, Mr. Attorney McGrath.
Thank you, Mayor. One thing to report, there is a notification that apparently was being distributed, something I mentioned today, advising residents John Mitchell from the Rainbow Push. We spoke to Mr. Mitchell today. This was not authorized by Rainbow Push in any way. I spoke to him by phone, and we have an email from him which states that this is not put out by us.
Can you speak up? Right, because we couldn't hear that.
I'm sorry. As I was stating today, some sort of a pamphlet which is being distributed advising residents not to pay their water bills was forwarded to our office. Purportedly, it was sent out by Rainbow Push. It says to contact John Mitchell. There's a phone number. And it says do not pay your water portion of your utility bill, and it's in regard to the water quality issues. For your information, my law partner, Bert Olson, is very good friends with Reverend James Meeks, who actually married him. He reached out to him, and we got a hold of Jesse Jackson and Mr. Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell denied having any knowledge of this newsletter or giving any authority on behalf of himself or Rainbow Push. So I would urge the residents and business owners not to pay attention to this notice.
So in your report, Mr. Attorney, you saying that although the water is unclear how actually safe it is, and because of the people that they should still pay their water bill, no matter what, contamination level, and what it might do or will do for human consumption. Is that what you're saying? Because I do recall in a meeting, and I'm going to put this out there, that you yourself made a statement to the Attorney General's office that we should not tell the public of Sauk Village about the usage of that water until it reaches 2.0 MCL. That is inappropriate, disrespectful to our public, and for you to sit here and say that for somebody that's not drinking our water, that doesn't live in our village, and tell our village how to act according to this emergency regulation.
Well, my comments were in reference to this newsletter, this piece that was not put out by Rainbow Push. And sir, you're completely incorrect as far as your memory, as far as that conversation with the Attorney General.
So you did say that?
I did not say what you
Okay,
said.
I'm sorry.
So does that mean that we still have to pay our water bill?
As far as your water bill, there's an ordinance on the books that requires you to pay your water bill. There are vendors who are paid out of the water bill, such as Skyline Disposal. If you do not pay your water bill, you're inviting this village into additional litigation. On top of that, Mayor, I was forwarded a press release from the Illinois EPA just before the meeting. I don't have a copy of it, but it's in reference to action by the state of Illinois through the Attorney General and the EPA, which are going to install air strippers as early as next week. This follows a number of conference calls, including late this afternoon with the Attorney General and the EPA. I hope that there's a number of copies of this news release for the public and the media to go through.
Thank you, sir. Let's move on to the village engineers. Mr. Zernick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to let you know that Robinson Engineering is about 40% complete with the emergency Lake Michigan water connection design. Also, I've been in contact with the IDNR regarding the upcoming Lake Michigan water allocation pre-hearing. Pre-hearing will be held at the Thompson Center in Chicago at 11 a.m. on August 22nd. Since I've been elected the pre-hearing coordinator for Sauk Village, the IDNR sent their required pre-hearing notice to me for distribution to all their listed stakeholders. We're sending out those notices this week. This is what we can expect at the pre-hearing. We'll select the final hearing date. We'll establish the ground rules and the deadlines for the hearing process. All interested parties who wish to offer testimony at the final hearing must be present at the pre-hearing. And finally, the IDNR will ask any questions they still have based on the information we previously submitted, which we'll need to respond to at the final hearing. Another item, as you know by now, in order to be eligible for Lake Michigan water allocation, the village needs to reduce water loss significantly. The best way to identify current leak locations and quantify water loss is to have a village-wide leak survey performed. The IEP and the IDNR are encouraging us to take this step as well. We have obtained 2 proposals for the work, which I've emailed you, along with sending out a recommendation letter, and that hard copy was also put in the mail today. The sooner we get the leaks identified and repaired, the more money the village will save, and the better the village's chances will be of being issued a Lake Michigan water allocation. Therefore, I'm recommending that you place this item on your next committee meeting agenda for action at the first board meeting next month. And finally, I need some direction from the board. The IEPA is waiting on the village's response to the IEPA's project plan review letter that they sent out on June 22nd. It's important to remember the village will not be eligible for low-interest loan funding until the project plan is approved by the IEPA, so we need to get the project plan approved ASAP. The IEPA indicated in their response letter that they are in favor of both airstripping, which is obvious by now, and the emergency Lake Michigan water connection. Do you want Robinson Engineering to amend the drafted response to the IEPA to include the installation of permanent air strippers at both well sites and construction of an emergency Lake Michigan water connection? Can I get some direction on that, please?
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask the engineer, in essence, are you asking us to you want direction to go ahead with the air stripping? Is that what you're basically saying, with the permanent air stripping?
What I'm doing is I'm crafting a response to the IEPA. So if it's the village's intent to have permanent air strippers installed along with the emergency connection for Lake Michigan water, then that's what I'll put in that letter, and therefore that's what the IEP will expect us to ask them for.
Okay, because when Baxter and Woodman came in, that was their second proposal. The first one was the portable, and the second one was the permanent, and I think the board said yes on both.
Well, okay. I mean, to be clear, I mean, we're not going to be designing those, but I'm going to respond to the IEP that it's the village's intent to install those.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's what the board voted the last time, to go with Baxter and Woodman, and their plan was phase 1 was to put the portables, but right from now we see that the state's going to do that for us, which we're glad. And the second one would be the permanent, and that's what Baxter and Woodman was going to design and put in. So I don't see, me myself as a trustee, I mean, the board voted on that, so I don't understand why there would be any misdirection.
Mr. Mayor, I'm kind of confused here. Mr. Engineer, you said that you're not going to be...
My name is not Mr. Engineer.
Mr. Zerner, are you saying that these air strippers are going to be permanent along with the connection to Lake Michigan water? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm asking what the board's direction is.
Well, we do know for a fact that once you connect Lake Michigan water, that means that we have to cap those wells. So why would we need air strippers to cap those wells? That's not confuse the public. That's not confuse me. I'm confused.
For an emergency Lake Michigan water connection, you would not have to cap the wells.
Okay, but you said permanently. So that means that those strippers are going to be temporary and not permanent. Because once we connect Lake Michigan water, we have to cap our wells.
I'll say again that once you connect to Lake Michigan water for an emergency connection, you do not have to cap your wells.
That's incorrect, sir. According to my belief, that is correct. But yet, although that's incorrect, Robinson Engineering, as I said to the public before, has been here for many, many years and has never done anything with our water situation. So why should you have that project? You should not have that project, and you should be removed from this village.
So should you.
Any additional comments from the board on the
Secondly, Mr.
correction?
Mayor, The trustee states that airstrip is going to be good. Well, the public needs to know we don't have to pay for it. We don't have to pay for that airstrip. And it should not pay at all.
I know that's right.
It should not pay not one dime for any type of water project in this village, because once again, it's not our situation that we caused.
That's right.
I'm free.
And we struggle. Where's all that?
Mr. Mayor, I would like very much that the citizens be not confused. They need direct and straight answers to a health issue that we have. It comes from Robinson Engineering, a company who has not done anything to our water project here in Sauk Village, should not be giving anyone any answers.
Right. Come on now. Breathe.
I'm done, Mr. Mayor.
Let me just say this to the public. Please try to stay under control. We don't want to have anyone removed from the building. So try to refrain from the outbursts, and so we can try to get to. We're going to try to provide as much information that we can. And again, there will be a meeting tomorrow night. Any information regarding water, you will be able to ask those questions. So try to stay under control so we can try to get through this meeting tonight. Thank you very much. Trustee Myers.
Mr. Mayor, recently we received notice that the Illinois EPA is also involved in the air stripping project. Now, is that permanently or is that temporary? Does anybody know? And if we don't know that, then we should have our engineering check with the Illinois EPA, Baxter, and anybody else, God knows, that's involved in this thing, and find out who's what's what. Because if the Illinois EPA is stepping in and putting a temporary one in, then we probably should go temporary. But if Illinois EPA steps in and put a permanent one in, then I don't see very much choice we have to go with permanent. That's the reason I like the engineer to touch base with who's ever in charge of the Illinois EPA and find out exactly what their role is on this. There's several things up in the air that I don't quite understand. And there's two different companies now, Illinois EPA is not a company, but they're involved in it, and they got air stripping coming in, and they're supposed to be in the next couple of weeks or so. And then we got Baxter out there making one up for us and ready to put it in. We need to know who's on first base and who's going to go to second base. So I'd like to have the engineer to check with them and everything, if that's all possible, or do you know, Jim?
I do know, Trustee Myers. It says in the press release from the IPA, it says the village also remains responsible for installing permanent air strippers that will address the contamination problem for the long term.
Well, I guess we don't have much choice, but they says we are obligated to permanent. Is that correct?
Let me let the attorney who has been working with the IEPA even up to today to shed the light on that part of it.
Thanks, Mayor. It all came about within the last week or so. As everyone knows, there's been a number of conferences with the village, the Attorney General, Governor Quinn's office, many agencies within the state, including the EPA. The village board voted at the emergency meeting last Thursday to approve air stripping with Baxter and also to go out and obtain bottled water until the air stripping would be installed and the water would be safe to drink. Well, the water could be safe to drink completely without any hesitation because there's some confusion as far as the notices and what's safe and what isn't safe. I can tell you based on our conversations that Governor Quinn's office is deeply involved and concerned, along with the Attorney General and the EPA, in dealing with this village over the last few years. They know it's ongoing, and quite frankly, they were questioning which direction the village was going. The village has changed its mind a number of times, and they also have been fully made aware of the village's financial condition, that the village is seeking financing, but because of various factors, they haven't gotten the financing yet, so they didn't want any more delay because they had the same interest as everybody here on the board is to provide safe water to all the residents of the village. So there's a number of calls and meetings with very high powder high-ranking officials throughout the state on Friday and decided that the state of Illinois is going to step in and bring in the portable air stripping devices. They have contracted with a contractor that the EPA has dealt with previously. They asked to see if the EPA and the contractor could come out to the village last Friday. They did. They could do this type of project. They have the equipment available. They were ready to install the equipment as early as this Thursday or Friday, but because the two wells, 1 and 2, are so old, they needed a little bit of remedial work, engineering work that's beyond me. So that's going to delay it until next Wednesday or Thursday. The state is fronting or helping out with the funding of this project. We have to work out the details later on, but the main thing is to get these portable air strippers in right away. So within 2 weeks, this village will have well water, which will look the same and taste the same. However, the vinyl chloride will be completely, will be below the non-detectable level. And people always laugh and they question that. Those questions or comments should be saved for the EPA and the Department of Public Health for tomorrow night, and that's why they're coming out to explain that. If anyone is smarter than those individuals, call them out and bring your documents and your literature to show that you're smarter than the agencies that are in charge of water distribution throughout the state. That's the portable air stripping devices. That's a short-term fix until the next set of air strippers are ordered and are in place. That won't be until November of this year. Now, to say that they're permanent air strippers, it's just a phrase. It doesn't mean they're going to be here until the end of time. It's just that they're longer-lasting, higher-functioning air strippers that are. And the engineer can explain that there has to be concrete poured, and there's a lot more work that has to be put into them for them to be here for years and years. In the meantime, you're going to be going towards the emergency hookup with Chicago Heights or whatever community you can sign up with the idea that long range, or as soon as this village can afford, you're going to get Lake Michigan water. But those are the steps that are being taken. So as far as questioning, portable, short-term air strippers, permanent means permanent. That means we can never get Lake Michigan water. That's not the case for this village. So that, basically, in a nutshell, is what's happened. That the governor's office, the attorney general, the EPA, Department of Public Health have all taken upon themselves, along with the village officials here, to bring safe drinking water to the village as soon as possible, and that will be within the next 2 weeks.
When I was going back to ask, the last vote at the special meeting stated that we would follow Baxter Woodman's proposal. If everyone, I'm sure the board members remember what that proposal was. Step one was the portable air strippers, which now the state said they're going to step in and help us with that. Phase two was the permanent air strippers that they were going to put there until, now the lawyer, Mr. McGrath, was right, until we find enough money or we're financially able to go out and secure Lake Michigan water. But in the meantime, Robinson Engineering, this is what was said last week, and I'm sure you can get the minutes from the clerk. Robinson Engineering will still continue to work with that plan because they were so far in advance, to bring the Lake Michigan water here. But right now we will use Baxter and Woodman to bring us air strippers until that time. And also it was voted on as far as, and that's one of the things that's on the agenda, it was voted on to accept or try to apply for the emergency funding that the state was going to give us for portable air strippers. That was all that was in the motion last week.
If I can just add one thing, no dispersion on Baxter Engineering or Robinson Engineering. The state is taking this action because the Baxter proposal said that the earliest they can get the portable air strippers in place and functioning and up and running would be 3 to 4 weeks. And the state just does not want to wait that long. That's why they're taking the action, and it's going to be in place within 2 weeks with no possibility of any type of delay from anybody.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, but I don't recall that motion last week. I know we did vote for airstripping and that was it, but who was gonna bring it in and who's gonna connect it up? I do not recall those motions. I need someone to inform me of it, I just don't recall. And if anyone else do besides making purchase of yanks over there nod his head, I don't know.
I'm sure the clerk.
Mr. Mayor, I would hope the trustee would remember, since he voted in favor of the motion. The motion was to bring in Faction Woodman, follow their plan for airstripping. They had a two-phase plan, which all the trustees received, and they had time to review, so we would know exactly what we were voting on. And we also, there was two other amendments to the motion. The first one was to, I have to refresh my memory here, to move forward on financial assistance through both the IEPA and South Dakota mayors and managers. And the second amendment was, let me refresh my memory here, that, oh, that's right. We amended that we would improve back sharing and follow back sharing plan. That's right. Thank you. And all trustees voted on it in favor, the ones that were here present that night.
Trustee President, no. Trustee President. Mr. Attorney, can we get Baxter and Wilson here once we finish the first phase of this project was the airstrip?
I'm sorry, I don't understand you.
I guess what we're looking for, just pretty much what you were asking, just clear direction whether or not Baxter and Woodman is still on board and everything with the first phase. So we want to make sure that they're still on board and they would be here to answer questions and things about the first phase of the project.
Mr. Mayor, I thought we just talked about first phase. First phase was the portable air strippers, which the state is going to provide, so we don't need Baxter Woodman for that. Hopefully.
Well, we want to make sure that since we're, the village has employed Baxter Woodman to handle this project, we still want to make sure that they're there to see and make sure everything is working.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. You want to make sure that they're there, but that means they're going to have to abbreviate their price. Because their price was for the portable air strippers, which was at, I think it was $500,000, something like that. So I'm sure they're going to abbreviate their price if they want to come and do that and just be onlookers or whatever. But I don't see why we would have them there at that rate, because we approved 1.3 last week. So if you're going to have them there, and phase one was $500,000, that includes the portable air strippers, hooking it up and everything. So I'm sure they're going to come back with something. All they're going to do is oversee it. Then I can understand that if that's what you want them to do. But to have them come in, because if you have them come in, you're going to pay anyway. Whatever you do, you're going to pay.
Can I just for the minutes, the state is not providing the portable air stripping. There's going to be some cost with that. And as far as Baxter, I spoke with Steve Larson of Baxter the last couple of days, and the state's action kind of took us by surprise. As of today, he was still working with on his plans for portable air stripping. Took us by surprise, and I didn't want the village to ultimately be responsible for paying two engineering firms doing the same work. He said that he is working with the EPA, and he has been since last week on the burn air strippers, and that some of the work kind of goes along with laying up the piping and engineering work. So he right now is working on permanent air stripping.
Mr. Mayor? I know the engineer is looking for direction. I think that the direction should be what we passed last Thursday night. And the direction is what follows the Baxter Woodman proposal. Even though the state is now coming in and putting in the temporary air stripper, that was their phase one. So I think what we need to do is it should probably continue. Here's phase one, temporary air strippers, phase two, putting in permanent air strippers. And that's what we voted on last Thursday night. That's what this village board approved. And that should be the direction that we're heading.
So you know that does little to change the project plan that we crafted already. So it's a simple bit of editing, and then I can send that response off to the IPA.
Anyone else on this? All right, let's move down to the mayoral report. Last committee meeting, the board presented me and the rest of the board with a number of different vetoes, a number of different motions that they put it on the agenda to vote on. At that time, I informed the board that I would be vetoing all of those motions. Tonight, I would like to read off those motions that the board presented and let the board know which one of those motions I will be vetoing and which one of those motions I will be withdrawing. So at this time, the first one is the mayor veto to the board motion to change the village budget cycle to a 6-month budget cycle beginning November 12th through April 31st, 2013. The village will subsequently proceed to a 12-month budget cycle beginning May 1st, 2013. Now, with that, speaking with the audit, the people that does I do our audit, and our financial director and the audit themselves, they had recommended that we continue on this cycle until this budget is completed and then go through to a 12-month budget. And their recommendation is that it will also save the village over $50,000, at least $50,000 just for going to that cycle and staying on that cycle. So at that point, I am going to veto the motion to go through the 6-month budget cycle. So it'll be vetoed that motion.
So let me make this clear. You're saying you do not negotiate 12 months we get right now.
And well, we are at 18 months right now, right? So we will finish that one out instead of going to a 6-month budget, what the board had recommended. We will stay on to it until the April 31st, and then start the next 12 months, right?
Mr. Mayor. I still have concern, and I think the village board should consider strongly overriding your veto. This village has not had an audit since you've been elected, and we are not able to budget our books. And to go on another 18 months when we still don't have an audit going back since you've been elected is uncalled for. So I think this village board needs to really consider overriding this veto.
Okay. You say, I thought we had when we did the last budget in November, I thought it was for 12 months. Now you asking to extend it to 18 months to May of 2013? And that's another, in other words, you're asking to add 6 months onto the budget, make it another 18, because the last budget was a year budget. It went from November 2011 to November 2012, which means the budget would be exhausted in 2012. And what we were asking is to have a 6-month from November 2012 until May of 2013. That would put us current. But sir, what got us in this trouble now is the 18-month budget. We did this when you first came into office. We went to an 18-month budget. And we just went into that And now to go back again, because we extended it when you first came in, you asked for a 6 months extension, and we made it an 18-month budget. Now we're just brought it back now to a year. Now you want to add another 6 months on it. That means we won't get another audit until May or probably June or July of 2013, sir. That'll be the next, because now what you do, if you extend the budget from November 2012 to May of 2013, then you won't have an audit for, the one that they're completing now will be completed for 2010. So therefore, you won't have another one. 2011, you won't have another one 2013. So that's the reason why we asked for a 6-month budget from yourself, and asked that the board okay a 6-month budget, because we saw what happened. We don't want to wait that long. We waited long enough for audit. You see what happened. You saw what happened. The reason why we couldn't move forward. We couldn't move forward because it was 18 months, because it was too many different things. Right now, hopefully that things are cleaned up by the Black and the Bullet. Hopefully that they have something to present us soon. And then hopefully we can get them to go right away and do the budget for 2011 and 2012, which was a year budget. But now if you're going to exclude or include another 6 months, then, we're going right back to where we were, sir. And that was the reason. I understand. I don't see where, I saw where they said we would save $50,000, but sir, in the grand scheme of things, we just spent that. So, I mean, I understand we need to save money and not tell people, not to do this or that, but to stagnate our budget and to abbreviate it or to add on to it is just, all we're doing is procrastinating like we did before. I don't understand why you would even want to do that, but I understand that you said that this is what you want, and you vetoing the reason. So, I'm not for that. I'm not for extending the budget another 6 months.
Right.
Mr. Mayor, let's get it all on the line right now. Let's tell the real reason why these trustees want to go from an 18 to 12 to 6 month budget. Let's put it out there. These trustees, these 5 trustees, asked this attorney to go to court and file a charge against our village manager to try to fire her from her job. Wow. They did that. And they used this gentleman right here in court to do that. I asked for his resignation. I didn't get it. Secondly, same thing they tried to do with our police chief, not to pay him. They did it with this attorney right here. This same attorney, I asked for his resignation. I did not get it. What they did was, they took it upon themselves in 2010 to fire the chief of staff. They fired the chief of staff. They ran the finance director away. We had no one to run the village. That's why we're in so much chaos right now. That's why. Now, when they fired the village manager or chief of staff, and when the finance director left, Trustee Hanks called himself being a mayor of Sauk Village and caused a lot of confusion. Laying people off. He did that. And they don't want you to know about it. That's why they're doing all they can not to let Trustee Benson talk. But hey, I'm going to talk. I'm going to tell my public what's going on. Now, the reason why Trustee Burgess is sitting up here talking about this 18, 12 months, 6 month thing is they actually made a deal with someone and came up with an agreement for the village manager to sign saying that in October she will lose her job. There will be no village manager. They was going to remove the village manager and the position, and then when the next election comes, hoping they'll get in, bring their own village manager in. That's what they're doing right now. There is no reason for us to go into a 6 month budget, because every time they call themselves being financial experts, which they are not, it causes total confusion in our village, and the taxpayers, us, we pay for it every time. because of these trustees and their tricks and their lies, and it has to stop. And the public is up to you to make it stop.
Which ones you plan on recording and which ones you plan on keeping, right? Okay. Because you've gone on a little bit. So you said that you plan on vetoing this, and Trustee Haynes asked the board to reconsider. I guess my only question is, besides the posturing and, soapbox standing, I guess the only question is that you've given how you feel about the topic. You said you're going to veto it. If Trustee Haynes would like to have the board then put it on the next 2 weeks from now, the agenda, to override the veto, I think that that's all we really talk about, because we can continue to move on.
I was hoping that we would have learned an important lesson here today. I was hoping that this board, this administration, would have learned an important lesson over the last week. Me, myself, as a trustee, I am not proud right now of what's happened to this village, of what we're going through, of what people are saying about us when you leave, or when you live in Sauk Village, really. You got to go pick up your water, really. I mean, this is something that I've never heard of in the United States. I'm sure this is the first time since I've been living that I ever heard that a municipality, this happens in Haiti, third world countries, or disaster areas. This is nothing to be proud of. This is something that is serious. And I'm hoping, and I was hoping, that at least now, since IEPA is coming, everyone's coming to our rescue now. Because this is why we're in this situation right now. We cannot agree to even disagree. We can't even move past the normal business because we have to sit here and posture and take care and bring things that would not have nothing to do with the agenda, bring them up and say what someone and accuse, point fingers all the time. We can't move that way. We cannot move that way. And me, for one, as a trustee, I am embarrassed to have you guys sit here and see us fight each and every week. Fighting what's got us into this situation right now. That's what fighting did. I'll get back and forth because the IEPA told us a long time ago to do something. They told us a long time ago that they shut our well. They gave an example. They said, wait a minute, okay, maybe you'll listen if we do one thing and shut your well down. Maybe you'll go in that course. We had to argue about that. We argued so much until now. What are we doing? We're passing our water and arguing about that. Arguing about who this and where the water goes and how much whatever. Is water. I'm embarrassed to have to give you your drinking water in a bottle. That you have to come up here after work and walk and hopefully you can make it by a certain time. And if you don't work, if you get off at a certain time and you can't get the water, so we got to make another plan. I don't know about anyone else, but this is embarrassing. To say that, hey, I represent the town, and we have to do this to our residents. We're already in the economic downturn, that our homes are not worth what they used to be.
Oh, you better say that.
Now, we have to hand out water, and people come to your house, is it safe, isn't it safe? You go back and forth, because IEPA, what they're doing, they're washing their hands. They're saying we had nothing to do with it, but yes, they did, we all know that. That's what we should be fighting, that fight. Not against one another, we live out here. We have to worry about, we should have came together over a crisis. I hate to see if we had a real crisis, because guess what? We were one step. Everyone wants to talk about what's happening. We were one step from shutting the water down in Sauk Village, which means everybody would have to go. There would be a complete evacuation because the health department would say so. But no one wants to say that, but that's the way it is. I'm just hoping. I was hoping that it wouldn't get that far tonight. I was hoping that we could come together and try to at least go and show the people that we can stick together in a crisis. But no, we cannot. We cannot do that. I'm hoping that everyone out here sees that. whichever way we go, even if we had went back in 2010, when we said we were going to go airstrip, and just made a movement to at least do what we're doing now, that would have appeased IEPA. They wouldn't have to come back and snap our hands and say, guess what? You still haven't done anything, so since you're not going to do anything, we're going to do it for you. And we should not, you should be able to run a government, run a town without having Big Brother come in and tell us what to do. We shouldn't do that way. We should do it ourselves. And we should have started back when they gave us, they told us ahead of time, if you don't do this, it wasn't said to you guys. It wasn't brought up at the meeting. But everyone was saying we're trying to do open and honest government. They were fining us $5,000. We had our attorney, our engineer, to go back and beg them to please don't, we don't have the money for that. So they gave us until the last election, where it was voted on for Lake Michigan Water to do something. Hoping that you had something in the plan, you had the plan already set, so when you got yes or no, you were ready to move. That was in March. This is July. Now look where we're at. So I'm sorry. I am not proud. I am not happy, and I'm not grinning or whatever the case may be, because this is a sad moment in Sauk Village. Now I've been out here 30 years, and I'm sick of it.
Trustee Bridges is correct. I agree with him. It is a very sad situation for our village. It's a situation where we should not be in. But many years ago, the past administration allowed it, and they called up with it. They called up with it because the public had had enough. But Trustee Bridges is wrong. It is not the fighting that got us where we are right now. It's the micromanaging. It's the controlling of the village managers and the mayor's job. The village manager has to come here every day and deal with trustees who try to tell her what she can and cannot do and direct her path. And people, that is not our job. We are only legislators, and that's all. And every time we come to the village and put our 2 cents in her business, it causes mass confusion. I'm giving you the truth. I'm not doing what Trustee Burks is doing, giving you a campaign spiel. It's not about that. It is not about that. It is all about moving our village forward. And we can't move our village forward if we're doing all this bickering and fighting amongst ourselves. But whenever the village manager is trying to do her job, she is interrupted by confusion. Even at the distribution process, it's so confusion. If they let it alone, if we let it alone, it will continue to run smooth. Nobody's having problems receiving water. No one. But it's not the fighting. What's going to get us out of this mess is our fighting. It's the public fighting for their rights. It's the public fighting not to pay for something that they cannot drink, cannot use. That's the fight we have. And if we don't fight, public, Sauk Village, if we don't fight, we're going to continue to allow these politicians to control us negatively, and we can't allow that.
Mr. Mayor, I do, since I'm through with this back and forth, I do have a question though, because it was brought up, the trustee just brought it up, and I just want to ask yourself, Mr. Mayor, are you in favor of no one having their water shut off during this time?
Let me just say this. The veto to the motion that I presented, I used that recommendation because we pay these experts to guide us. We pay experts to guide us. We don't have the expertise. That's why we have village attorneys, village engineers, audit people, finance people that come in. So we need that too. But however, if we are going to not use their recommendation. And Trustee Benson is right. We've had that a number of times from the trustees where they got involved in it and it caused a lot of confusion. But I'm not going to harp on that because we're here to try to get through this issue. We have a tough issue here with this water issue. And we're doing everything that we can to make sure that we get through it. And we will get through it. But the budget, the finance, those people are the ones that's giving us the recommendation, and those are the ones that's giving, that have the expertise in that field. I am following the direction of the audit, finance director, those that we rely upon to help us make these decisions. So with that said, I will veto this motion.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, I did ask a question. Are you in favor?
Come on now.
Are you in favor of the residents not having their water shut off due to non-payment of the bill?
I'm not sure what you're asking. At this point, I don't think the board has made any suggestions for anyone to not pay that bill.
No, I'm saying I saw a directive, and I'm asking you, it didn't have your name on it, but I'm asking you, are you in favor of no shut-offs? I'm asking the mayor.
I'm going to say again, the board does not recommend to anyone, not any citizen, not to pay their bill.
They should.
You should right now, until the board make a decision on this, no one should stop paying their water bill.
You can't afford it.
All right, now let me press up.
You just stated that the finance director, you're going off of his recommendation, correct, to the 18-month budget? Because we first presented that, he was the one that presented the 6-month budget. So I guess my only question is that you can officially do your veto, and the board would not be able to overturn it for 2 weeks anyway for that board meeting. So can I ask that for the next committee meeting, that we have the advisors that you're referring to who suggested this to explain it to this board, because this board voted on this because this is what we were advised to do so by those advisors. If they change their mind or if they found new information, then we need to be educated as to why we need to do it this way. And the only way to do that, to move forward, is to have them here to explain it to us, either via memo, presentation, or something, so they can tell us why they feel a continuation of an 18-month budget is needed. Because any other time, there's a budget annually, every year. If a mayor's in office for 4 years, that means that there's 4 times there's a budget to review what's happened while that person's in office. If we go to an 18-month budget, that means that while in your term, sir, that you would have only 2 audits. We have board members talking about where money is, you have residents talking about where money is. How can we answer those questions to citizens or ourselves if we want to not do a budget for every 18 months? A lot of stuff can happen in 18 months. That's why budgets are annual. In the business world and here, that's why they're annual. So this has changed. Our advisors, like you said, we pay so much money to. If they decided that this is a better way now to go with an 18-month budget, I need to hear that. So we can have them at the meeting next week to review that, and then we will maybe we'll have to override your veto. Because we can't do it for 2 weeks anyway.
Mr. Mayor.
I believe the village manager passed out a memo from the PLO and the grand, those that do the audit and those that are there for the audit. So I'm not sure what memo or what else.
There's nothing here from Mohawk, our finance director. He was the one that sat at the table and said we need to do this. So I need to understand from him. He needs to explain it. And maybe it's just to me, but I would assume that since we're talking about this in front of the audience apparently has a lot of questions on it. I think the best thing would be at a meeting next week Tuesday,
If I may, Mohan is not available. He's on vacation. He's out of the country actually until the first week in August, and I know he sent that email out. I can invite Steve Solo from the Board of Associates office to be here, but I wanted to make sure that you have information as soon as possible in reference to that. When the board voted to go to 6 months, we had not received the audit. This is an overview. They're trying to have some consistency, 18 months, 12. If you have 18, 12, 6, 12, it just looks inconsistent because we're trying to put together some reports in reference to that. So I will have him here, if he's able to make that, or an additional email, additional memo to explain if he's not. And I will put that on the agenda on the board correctly for discussion at the time. Let's go to the final from our auditors, which we've had, and they've had a chance to overview and look at that.
What I'm going to do now is read the rest of them and then let you know which one that I will plan to veto and which one I will withdraw. B, a mayoral veto of the board motion to approve placing revenue received from the cell tower leasing into a separate cell tower account until further notice. C, I will veto that. C, the mayoral veto of the board motion denying funding for all person extended, including clothes, travel, seminars for temporary police chief Fox. I will veto that also. The next one is D. The mayor vetoed the board motion to approve an order to raise the water rates to $10.37 per 1,000 gallons starting August 1st, 2012. According to the mandate of the referendum on March 20, 2012. That one I've also vetoed. The next one is the mayor veto of the board motion to move forward and approve an IEPA loan application for the purpose of acquiring airstripping for the village well system. That one I will withdraw my veto. The other one I would veto A through D.
Mr. Mayor, under item number C, F.C., the mayor veto to the board motion to deny funding for all personnel expenditures, including clothing, travel, and seminars for chief Fox. Mr. Mayor, there's another issue that I'm bringing up that has something to do with expenditures, travel. The board has approved themselves to go to the IMLS conference that may cost the village over $6,000. That's right here in Chicago. We are strapped, do not have any money. That should not be allowed. We should not go for this because of the situation that we are in. If we have no money, how could we spend money? And due to the fact that I fought against this, and they approved it anyway, this is a most definite time, Mr. Mayor, to disallow and veto that motion because no trustee should go anywhere at this particular time and spend expenditures or revenue that the taxpayers just do not have, especially when they can catch the bus and go downtown themselves. And Mr. Mayor, that has already been approved, so if we can rescind that motion to deny it so that no one will be going anywhere at a particular time, it will save the taxpayers money and we can use that money more appropriately.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, on FB, for the cell tower? Okay. Ms. Turner went out there to get that money for the people that we just hired, which would be our code enforcement. The reason why I voted to separate that money so it could be in a separate account, that it wouldn't be included in the general fund, so when it comes time to pay, because everyone's sitting here and they just got to listening to, we're going to spend X amount of money. We're not going to raise anything. We're not going to get any money coming in. But we're going to spend all this money. Now, when it comes down to the point where it's time to pay up, and the village manager went out to get this money from the cell tower, and it's gone because it got eaten up with general fund, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to come here, and they're going to have more back and forth, who did what or whatever. That was the reason why I wanted that money to be separate. So when it comes time for that, it was the reason why we brought coal back, because we thought it would be self-sufficient. And I'm looking at the reports now, it's getting up there, because they're doing what they're supposed to do. But to add it in the general fund and get sucked up in there, the reason why we brought them back is because, the reason why the village manager went out to get the money was to pay those salaries. I think it should be separated. Now, as far as C, everyone keeps, it's not personal, it's supposed to be personnel. Personal, not personnel, it's supposed to be personal expenditures, not personnel. Every department head and every person in the police department gets a salary, gets a allotment for their uniforms. It's in their contract that they get a certain amount each and every year, and as the village manager knows, we're right now negotiating that part of it. Negotiating the contracts. Now, when you have a department head, you have a contract, and in that contract it stipulates how much money you will get towards uniform allowances, seminars, and travel. That's in all the ones that have contracts. It's in their contract. Anyone that has a contract. Ms. Turner has a contract. It's in her contract for different things. It's spelled out. Now, we've already exceeded the limit that was agreed upon for the police chief for uniforms and things like that. Travel right now, okay. Trustees got to say that we should take the bus. I'm not going to go that far and ask them to want to take the bus or ask the police chief to walk to work or anything like that. I'm not going to do that. However, why do we continue to keep funding something, and right now we're asking everyone else to hold back? We're asking the officers, which we did, we asked the officers to accept their money on a timely basis, which means that we would pay them in time, not on time, but in time. And then to have the police chief to have total autonomy to say, okay, well, I need this, I need that, and to say, okay, we're going to do this and do that. First of all, there's no contract there. That means a lot. There's no contract. However it may be, there's no contract. So I don't understand where we're getting the salary or the clothing allowance, and what are we going by? If we're going by past practices, he's exceeded that already for past practices. But you said you're going to veto, fine. I'm just letting you know the reason why I voted for those particular motions. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I say one thing? I would like for you to do a census, Mr. Mayor, with the board members right down. That MILS conference downtown we don't really need to go to. Let's find out how many is willing to not go, because we really do not need to go. Let's find out right now what trustee up here are going to attend that meeting, that conference. Unless they want to attend on their own and pay their own, they can do that. But we're trying to save money because we in dire straight here. We need all the money that we can to get by this. So let's find out, Mr. Mayor, if you will. I know it's not on the agenda, but let's find out if these trustees are willing to not attend that or attend it on their own without costing the taxpayers no money. You don't have to go. They go every year. They go every year. Last year I said they shouldn't go because we didn't have the money. They went anyway. Mr. Mayor, I think we should do it right now to find out who is willing to help and work together, as Trustee Burr just said, and save the village taxpayers some dollars.
Well, first of all, trustees, I didn't go last year, I don't think I'll go this year. Because I listened to the mayor and manager, and they're pretty very close to the same value. You do pick up a lot of stuff in Congress, but the village isn't behind the whole position. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to tell a couple of other things. Item A, once again, the village finance director encouraged us to go with it. However, you have your right to veto it. B, this revenue that's coming from the cell tower, and Lord, Mr. Mayor, you know, and everybody else in this entire audience in the world, I think, knows that somehow or another we put money aside some way or another. If it hits the general fund, it's gone. We can't, and all we're asking to put it in a fund and where we can know where it's at, where we can pull from it. But again, Mr. Mayor, you have the right as the mayor to veto. The item C on the police chief, sign a contract. I mean, everybody else has a contract, and that's all. I mean, do a contract and no problem. But to have carte blanche, it's kind of slap us in the face because everybody else, all the other department heads has contracts and everything else they have to abide by. But the chief seems to have a carte blanche. And that's just it. We just need a contract. But once again, you have the right to do it. And the biggest thing is item D. We're going to need to pay for all this stuff, whether our engineering or Illinois EPA decided to do what they want to do. We're going to have to pay for it. But we keep putting stuff like this out. We're not going to get no money to pay a damn thing. And you know what? You know what? And then we're going to walk right into the Illinois Department of Public Health and the Illinois EPA. So people pay. They just pay when you're given a water bill, and the mayor has the right, again, he's the mayor, he can veto it. But once again, if you have a question, please contact several people, and then you make your opinion. Just don't take one. Contact several other. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have a suggestion. For those people who say there's nothing wrong with our water, pay your water bill. If nothing's wrong with the water and you can drink it, it makes you not sick, then you have a right to pay it. You should pay it. But those who have a problem with the water bill, Mr. Mayor, I agree with them 100%. I don't think we should pay the water bill. I don't want to pay my water bill because it's contaminated, it's poison. The bottom line is we do need money to function. That's a given. Sauk Village, we do need money to function, but we don't need to tell you poison water to function with. That's unhumane. For anyone to make you pay for contaminated water it's just plain inhumane. And that's unheartening to do that. What we should do, and I'm making a suggestion, Mr. Mayor, we have a garbage bill, we have to pay that garbage bill. We have a sewage bill, we have to pay a sewage bill, let's pay that. But let's take a percentage, because nobody's drinking that water now, because except the people who want to drink the water, but yet I see the same people who keep saying the water is great, nothing wrong with it, are coming up every day to the community saying the good water. That's crazy. It makes no sense. That's hypocrisy. It's double talking. And they're making the citizens who really care, they're telling them that we don't care either. We're going to get all we can. That's what they're doing. If the water is that bad, if the water is that good for people who drink the water, don't come up and take water from the people who have a problem with it. Now, Mr. Mayor, it was told to us that the only thing we can do with the water is basically flush it. So what I'm suggesting is we can pay a percentage, and how do we measure that? It's difficult. That's something that we're going to have to sit down and try to figure out. How do we measure how much a household flushes to the toilet? That's the problem. How do we measure that? Can we say per household, depending on how many in your household, 5%. If it's 6%, if it's 10%. However, but it's not right for us to make the village pay for bottled water, contaminated water, air stripping, and no one else is, and the people who cause this problem is walking away scot-free. That's a huge problem for them. And some of these trustees up here, some of the trustees up here has been around for more than 3 terms, such as trustee Hanks up here, knew about our water issue and did nothing about it. Nothing about it. Trustee Burgess been up here for 2. Trustee Williams been up here for a couple terms, and they did nothing about it, and they knew about it. And yet, they want to run your village. I'm fighting for the citizens, man. That's what I'm doing. I'm fighting for everyone in this village. I think it is inappropriate for us to pay, but we need finances to carry the village forward. So I think that we should pay a percentage of our water bill for flushing only. We can't drink it, we can't wash our clothes with it, we can't wash our dishes with it. So all we should be able to do is Mr. Mayor is flushing, and that's to pay a percentage for flushing. Why should a citizen have to pay a complete water bill when they can't use the water completely? Thank you.
Again, I'm asking that we can please move forward. I asked the village manager that all these items that you vetoed, which is well within your right, you gave us a memo with the proper amount of time, you did it at this board meeting exactly the way it was done. Let's follow procedure, and if we could please put these items on the committee meeting agenda, the time where things should be discussed. That would also allow anybody on this board to ask the village manager to obtain research or to do their own research about questions about how we can determine who's flushing their toilet, how we can look at how many people are using their water. This would give us a week's amount of time to do that, because the village manager is very busy right now. But now's not the time. You can't ask her these questions. She's not going to have these answers. This is not the time to go back and forth. You're posturing. We don't need to do that. The mayor, Mr. Mayor, you're giving your vetoes. Can the village manager please have this on all of these vetoes on the committee meeting agenda with whatever documentation they can bring? We can discuss at that time, and if they're going to be overturned, it can't happen for 2 weeks anyway. Now's not the time to go back and forth. 15 minutes ago, I said we've been on this topic for an hour. We've wasted another 15 minutes. Can we please move on?
Mr. Mayor.
That's not a waste. That's just she's too busy spending our money.
I have sat here quietly and listened to Trustee Benson lie. This Trustee Benson is a liar. And I say to his face, and I say to these residents of Saukville. Trustee Benson votes on stuff last Thursday night and stands before you today and says he didn't remember or he doesn't know anything about it. He voted in favor. And then Trustee Benson is doing nothing but scare tactics to the village residents. He is saying things that he has no idea what he's talking about. He wants to talk about percentage of water. Every house in Sauk Village has got a meter that says exactly how much water you use. If you use that water for flushing only, you're only going to get charged for what you use. You have a meter, and the meters are checked. Trustee Benson wants to say, look at all these trustees that have sat here on this board all these years. You know, trustees on this board has done things over the years, but the IEPA even makes it very well known, especially in their newsletters, that this issue became an issue in 2009 under this administration. The IEPA even mentions that this became an issue in 2009. What did this village board do in 2009? They closed well number 3. This board also in March of 2010 passed an ordinance to move forward with air stripping. The same exact thing that the IEPA is telling us to do today. Ladies and gentlemen, if we would have done exactly, and this administration would have followed this village board's direction, we would not be in the situation we are today. Trustee Benson wants to talk about what has everyone done on this board. And Trustee Benson has been on this board for 3.5 years. I think you as residents need to ask what he's done, because he's done nothing. Except for appointing this is an election year, and Trustee Benson wants to do nothing but use his seat to put out his propaganda and his lies. And ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you, if you want to listen to his lies, I encourage you to go back and verify, because he's not telling you the truth, and he's lying to you.
You know what? Don't nobody want to say it. Everybody messed up. Everybody messed up.
Hold it down now.
Get rid of the mayor, that's all.
Everybody got it. Right, our leader.
I guess I have to address a couple of these motions before we move on. And one is the cell tower. We asked the village manager to find money and ways, and that's part of her responsibility, is to find ways to help finance this. We know we all were looking for ways to get the code enforcement back. She went out and found ways to brought the money in to help fund the code enforcement. Code enforcement now is paid out of the general fund anyway. So for us to say to put it in another account, remember now, when we brought code enforcement back, we didn't have any money. They were beating up Chief Fox and said we didn't have any money and everything. So she went out and got this money to make sure we paid code enforcement. That's coming out of the general fund anyway. So why do we need to continue in our same finance director, our same audit people saying that we have too many separate accounts running around? So if they're suggesting that we have too many separate accounts, and we went out to get this money so we can bring code enforcement back and so we can pay code enforcement, what's the reason why we need to open up another separate account? This money is coming out of the general fund anyway. Money is supposed to be going into the general fund to support code enforcement. That's the reason I'm supposed to be on that one. Now the other one is Chief Fox. Money for his traveling, any chief. Those of you who've been here and know anything about, every chief has to be certified, everybody, all of our directors, and you just heard Trustee Benson saying, even the trustees go where they get information to make sure they stay certified, to make sure they stay compliant. There's no reason for us to stop Chief Fox from going places where he has to go to get certified, but yet and still we allow other department heads to continue to go. There's no reason for that. We're allowing the trustees to go where they want to go. Now I heard Trustee Burgess say he should sign a contract. We've been presenting a contract, well his attorney has been presenting a contract to the board from day one. Now, wait a minute now. But you keep saying that we don't have money, yet still we bring code enforcement like we didn't have money. We're offering a chief whatever salary they're offering him, much lower than the people that he supervises. That can't happen. You cannot offer a chief of police a salary that's lower than the people he supervises. So for us to sit here and not allow him to go on these, to get certified, it's unheard of. But you got to, thank the chief because the salary he's getting is much lower. I got to say this because we've been fighting this with Chief Fox ever since he's been here. And we know that even the village attorney told the trustee, we are not going to win this. You're not going to win this. You're going to have to pay it. For us, as this board, and they said they're looking out for your best interest, that's what they're saying. But for us to lose, or to allow you to have to pay almost $50,000 to $100,000 in court fees to try to reach $12,000, that is ridiculous. Anybody knows that. To continue to fight in court to save $12,000, unheard of. So there's no reason for us to continue this. We still in court, trying to reach a contract agreement for $12,000. And we should have agreed on that. When the court is telling them we got to be there, the court, if the attorney is telling them they're not going to win this fight, he's got to be paid what other chiefs are paid in our district and in our area. And now they're going to stop it and they're not allowing him to continue to be certified and continue to be compliant with the state. The next one is the water increase. We know that somewhere down the line, we are going to have to increase to fund these projects. The reason I'm asking to hold up on it now is because we're in a difficult situation now. We shouldn't have to put an addition cost up on the taxpayer until we see where we are. We did not sit down to see, we know this was on the referendum, yes. But to put this on the back of the taxpayer right now in this crisis, I think it's unfair. So that is the reason I will be for that. The other one I did was strong. Okay, let's move on to the reports of the trustees and the Parks and Recreation. Trustee Chavez absent. Housing Authority.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're going to tell the residents about the NACA workshops for home save and home purchase. I can make sure that I get this information out. If you're having problems making your house payments, or if you know anyone's having problems, if you're looking to purchase homes, there is a site you can go to, which is www.naca.com. They provide workshops. They provide both the home purchase and the home save workshops, and they help the residents. The next workshops are available, I'll let you know, and you can also go to their website. But the next home purchase, if you're looking to purchase a home, the next one's held at the Progressive Community Center in Chicago on 7/28/2012 from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. There's also another one held at the Village Hall at Richmond Park, which is on it's on 8/11, August the 11th, from 9 to 12. On the home save, the next workshop is at the Progressive Community Center also, which is on 7/28. That one is held from 1 to 3. These workshops require that you go online and fill out the application to be able to attend these. So if you know anyone, please pass this out. What you do is you go to www.naca.com, follow the links. First one usually hit on is either the home save or home purchase. Then go down to workshops, and usually what I do is I type, I just put in my zip code, 60411, and tell you the nearest ones. And I think the one in Chicago, they say it's approximately 20 miles from us. Richmond Park is a lot closer. So I try to make sure that the residents know about the ones that are within this area. The other thing, I don't know if we have anyone here that owns, we call it multi-dwelling, but the last collaborative meeting that they had with Southborough mayors and managers, they talked about funding, they talked about a lot of ways to help those who own like apartment buildings, multi-dwellings. We have some of this information I'd like to pass off, but they also, some of the things they have is they have property maintenance training. There's dates for that. They have 90-minute free seminars, which gives a brief introduction to property management. They also have energy savings offers, which is energy assessment and expert advice, financial guidance, construction oversight, annual saving reports. Talks about who qualifies. The Energy Savings Program is currently open to multiple family buildings with 5 or more units located in the 7 counties, Chicago municipalities, metropolitan region, and the city of Rockford. And we fall underneath that area. So if you live in one of the apartments, if you live in a multi-family dwelling and you have a landlord, you might want to let him know about this information, him or her. This is put out through the CIC group, which is Community Investment Corporation. They also have, for properties with 5 or more residential units, they offer a free energy audit assessment. All you do is contact them, they'll come out and provide that. They provide no interest loans for energy improvements, and they also have other opportunities for the smaller units, which is 4 or less residential multifamily dwelling units. So we have this information available. We're trying to send this out to some of the other owners or managers of some of these apartment buildings. So again, if you live in one of these locations, let us know. I have a little bit of information that I can pass out if you want to take it back to your property management manager, or if you know the owner. We have this information available. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's my report.
Thank you, Trustee. Let's move to the ordinance review committee. Trustee Hines.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple items. First of all, I apologize that the Work Committee did not meet this month. We had a special meeting, and also happened with the Neighborhood Watch. We had a lot of stuff. I have received a lot of new stuff from the Neighborhood Watch Association. We're planning our meeting for this month, and along with Ms. Washington, getting the flyers out. It will be held at the fire station at 7 p.m. And just one other item. Please, I urge each and every one of you to come to Bloomtraw High School tomorrow night, 7 p.m., and ask your questions. There's going to be professionals there, and some of you look like you're in doubt of our comments. Ask the Illinois EPA be there, the health department be there. Mr. Mayor, I don't know, anybody from the state attorney's office or attorney general's office? Okay, there may or may not be somebody there from the attorney general's office, but please, I urge you, the parking lot on the one side is tore up, so go on the Cottage Grove side and get in. There's plenty of parking. So I urge you, gentlemen, to come tomorrow night. That's all I have for I think of.
Thank you. Economic development. Trustee Burgess.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've been in contact with the Illinois Tollway Employment Opportunity Program. They periodically send me jobs that are available. I like to kind of read them off. This is all over the state of Illinois, so it's not just up here up north, it's all over. You may have to relocate, but some of the jobs that they have openings for right now are cashier, general account assistant, diversity compliance coordinator, a document control specialist, employee services coordinator, engineering document administrator, maintenance section manager, and maintenance section supervisor. They have an online website that you can go to apply, but you can go in person and you can submit the application. It's located at 2700 Ogden Avenue in Downers Grove between the hours of 8 and 4:30 Monday through Friday. If anyone didn't get that information, I'll be here at the end of the meeting. I can give it to you and you can write it down. But there are opportunities, there are jobs there for the Illinois Tollway. Also, I've been in contact with some people. We're trying to get a study on Route 30, just a study to find out what's feasible to go there from 394 going east into Indiana. As you know, that there's going to be a lot of things going on pretty soon, one of them being the casino, and it's moving forward in the south suburbs. So we have to be on board to have something in place so when the investors come out here, we can show them something on that corridor right there from 394 going east all the way into Route 30. And the last thing I would like to ask, I didn't get a chance to ask the village manager, the update on the pods. Have they said anything to you, or what's the update?
The update for the pods is Mr. Quickly actually quickly went out and has met with them. They're going to remove them, but however, I've been preoccupied. But I did call them, and they donated to us the pods out front for our water distribution and storage of water at no cost other than the transportation of that. But they will be removing those pods, and she can give me a schedule, but haven't had a chance to get back to them. I've been a little preoccupied.
Okay, because the last thing you said you were going to give them a letter directed, and then after that it was going to be a fine. That's why that was the update. I was asking.
I have had a meeting with them twice. We sent them an email doing that, but again, as I said, I have been preoccupied as my staff has as well, taking care of this water issue. As soon as we are able to complete this crisis, then we will go back and follow up with them.
That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Public Relations Committee.
Public Relations Committee met last week Wednesday, and we continue to work on past elected official recognition as well as employee recognition. And it's our goal to get that in writing. We need to approve it at the next meeting before we bring it to the board. Our plan is to update the board. We used to have at the local hall to show how long people have been on certain committees or how long they've been elected officials, how long they've worked for us. So as soon as we have that information, we'll bring it back to the board and approve our report.
Thank you. Chicago Southland Housing Community Development Collaborative, Trustee Benson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, the collaborative committee meets every second Tuesday of the month. Nevertheless, they met 2 weeks ago Tuesday. I was out of town. I was not able to make that meeting. I was out of town for a whole week. But the village manager and myself has been meeting on several occasions to try to come together to find a solution to our housing project, our disclosure in our homes. And we are working on that right now to see what we can do to improve the status of the situation. But in lieu of what's been going on with our water, we have been unable to help. The village manager is very, very confident that we can do a great thing with this village as far as our housing program is going on. We need to meet more often. But other than that, Mr. Mayor, until we can complete this situation that we have in right now, which is takes precedence of all things, I probably won't be able to meet with her because of her busyness. But we will meet in the near future. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Let's move to reports of department, committees, and commissions. Okay, the chief has stepped out. Let's move to the fire department 911 commission. Chief Doctor. Let's move to the public works. Mr. Wallace.
No report, Mayor.
Sir. Administrative service.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No report.
Okay. Mr. Raul is on vacation. Emergency Service Disaster Agency, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to report that the brand new siren, Tornado 1 siren that's over in the logistics center is now off and running and works, and we're also putting the tornado.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Let's move to new business. Need a motion to approve the account payable and disbursement for July 11, 2012 through July 24, 2012. Motion. Second. Comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, due to the fact that the village manager did tell me that she put this in my mailbox Friday. I looked at my mailbox Saturday and it was not there. So I'm just getting this accounts payable report. So due to that fact, I did not receive it until now. I have not had a chance to actually study it to see what's actually in it and what's appropriate to pay and what's not. So I cannot comment or vote on that report. So for that accounts payable, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Myers.
The question to the village manager. All the return check for the community center, that's called the water situation, and we shut the out to the public.
Yes, sir. We have canceled all activities in the Parks and Rec area during this crisis. So there were refunds of deposits we had to do. Some people were willing to wait. Other people needed their refund to secure other locations. The parks are very instrumental in getting those refunds requested and values of refunds.
All right, thank you.
All right, here with the general fund parks and playground reimbursement. I believe I request information on those. I believe that's on page 2, 393 and 393. I asked for some information on those before those be approved, and I haven't received that information yet. So I'm asking that this not be approved until I get the information. I submitted that to the individual for this information. Any other comments? Yeah, I have a motion and a second to approve the account bill. Right. All I need to reset. Right.
That motion, the first motion, we can rescind it.
Right. But she's not going to rescind the motion.
Well, the mayor is asking for this not to be paid because there's a question. And to my knowledge, this year, these 2 year payables are from Trustee Chavez. And Trustee Chavez is responsible for our boxing program that belongs to Sauk Village. But it's funny how all the equipment that comes in, we reimbursing them for it. And that's a problem. Because if the boxing program belongs to the village, and he's ordering equipment for the village, then all the village markings should be on that equipment. Village manager, is any of the village markings, property of Sauk Village, is it on its equipment?
The equipment, we are presently marking and noting them, but I believe this has to do with reimbursement for a travel that the boxing team made, travel reimbursement.
Well, why would we pay for them to travel and go box?
Well, I think what happened here, the board did not approve for them to go to Memphis, Tennessee, and the board did not have an itinerary, nor did the board receive how many or who went, or whether or not they got an approval from the parent. I think that's all I was looking for the trustee. In order to pay $1,500 for reimbursement and things like that, I don't think it's unfair to ask how many people went on the trip, how when they went, when they came back, whether or not we have the okay from parent. That's all I'm asking for. That the board didn't see any of this before. So now I'm asking now to make sure that we have something on record in case something come back or something happened. We should know what kid went, whether or not the parents signed off. I think that's more than right for the board to have. I should be one of them. And I didn't get that when I asked for it, and now I see it on here to be approved. And I think that I asked for to see those items. I'm not going to approve this until I see it.
Mr. Mayor, if the village manager will, I would like for her to make it a point with your orders, Mr. Mayor, to inform Trustee Chavez that any time a child is taken out of the village or travels under the village name, it must be approved and paid for to make sure that those children are highly insured. If anything happens to our children because of this, then the village is at fault, and that's inappropriate. So we need to protect our children in any way and protect the citizens here. So I don't know why Trustee Williams would not want to rescind her motion to pay this. Matter of fact, Mr. Mayor, I would like to ask Trustee Williams, why won't she rescind? She rescinds everything else that she wants to do. This is very important. We can't pay this if it was inappropriately done. You asked for this information and you never received it. the respect that Trustee Chavez shown for you is very negative, and to do this right now is growing, and that's have to cease, Mr. Mayor. So I'm asking Trustee Williams, why wouldn't she want to rescind this motion? And I think that the rest of these trustees should support that, to support your statement, Mr. Mayor.
To answer the trustee's question, this was brought up on the last accounts payable, and as was the email communication that happened after the meeting 2 weeks ago stated, it was the thought of most of the people on this board that that item was actually paid. When it was discovered that it wasn't paid, a series of emails started where Trustee Chavez copied this board, talking to the village manager, talking to the mayor about the invoices he'd given. Now, I didn't participate in any response to the entire board. I'm not sure if anybody else did, but responding back to individuals like the mayor, village manager, and Trustee Chavez himself, he presented hotel invoices. He talked about these things before the event actually happened. So, as was discussed in part of the emails, this board approved it. So, that's why we're here today. He talked about it. He talked about it. He presented the information. That is why I voted to not change my motion. I hope that answers your question.
No, Mr. Mayor, this board never approved or never saw any I never saw any documents from Trustee Chavez about these children going anyway. Never saw anything. So I don't understand it. And if you sit there, Mr. Mayor, saying you're not going to approve it, that means you didn't see it either.
Exactly.
So I'm trying to figure out what Trustee Williams is talking about. But then again, like I said before, micromanaging. I need to know from the village manager. I never saw any of this until right now, until you mentioned it. No.
Burgess.
Yes.
Chavez. Hanks.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
This is fucking why people don't care. Don't pay y'all fucking water bill. Fuck this town. We're gonna run this bitch down.
Hold on. Trustee, will you get my speech?
Good. That pink shirt was good. They trying to shut him up. That pink shirt was good.
Are you able to hear me, Mayor Ward? Mayor, at this time I don't have a report. I just want to extend a thank you to Sheriff Tom Dart for the personnel he sent us for the last several days regarding the water handout, and the sheriff policemen that are here for all of our board meetings and whatever events that we may need them for. And I just want to be able to send a letter to him from the board and yourself saying thank you for his services.
Thank you, Chief. Let's move now to number 6 of the agenda, the public comment portion. Mind you, if you're talking about questions concerning the water, I would hope that you will hold your question until tomorrow night so you'll be able to ask the experts of questions. Kevin, can you give us
We were there for the people and we worked for the people. And I hope you guys come back and we need volunteers at any time. So the second thing I want to do, I don't want to ask questions, but I'm going to give you some facts. We did not vote for a permanent air strip. We want Lake Michigan water. Illinois EPA cannot impose this bill on this village. We have a mandate, we want Lake Michigan water. We are sick and tired of the majority of this board squandering our money and using us for our own personal ATM. Olsen and Stark does not have a contract. Robinson Engineering, Trustee Williams, Trustee Myers, Trustee Hanks, Burgess, and Chavez, and including the village clerk. You are useless, ineffective, and you're costing us a lot of money.
Sitting here, watching bickering among you, like some of you I've seen like 20 years, some of you, 5 and things like this. And while you are going through the discussion, I noticed like a few times, even though you were battling this, and then you talked about the same thing, as far as certain village concerned. I mean, you all been elected to do this 3-4 year term, and I mean, you stuck with each other. Some of you know some things, some know a little more than others. Some are trying to figure it out, and I don't think it's a big difference as to who's the smartest in the group. I mean, you all are here as a group. I mean, you stuck with who you stuck with, and you know what you know.
Excuse me.
Okay, all right. It was just nerve-wracking hearing some of the people up there talk about the same things, but they could have been helping each other on some projects. We have this. You said you were going to talk about water, so that's actually what I was here for. That the water bill. I'll just say one thing is that firm that you had overseeing the water for maybe the last 20 years, as you do on your negotiations, I think they owe the village one.
There you go.
Okay, I used to say thank you for getting the water to us, the bottled water and stuff, and looking out for the handicapped and the elderly. So whoever's involved with it, thank you. You guys know who you are, and I mean anybody. This is really addressed to Benson. Benson criticizes everybody. Everybody. And he criticizes you too, Mayor, believe me. But he asked for everybody is accountable for stuff. But yet he does not show, or I have not heard, the money that he's taking from the youth musicians. And nothing was ever said about it.
We only I ask that we stick to items that's on the
But this is, because he's constantly criticizing everybody on the board.
That is nowhere on the agenda, though.
He's criticizing people on the board.
Now, if you want to talk about that, you have to come to next Tuesday. Tonight, we are only addressing what's on the agenda tonight.
But he's been saying lying to everybody.
Okay, if you think that's what it is, but we're not going to discuss that tonight.
Well, then he shouldn't be lying if he's telling the truth.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss that tonight. You have one of these items on the agenda to discuss, we will go ahead and continue.
Okay, I want to give thanks to Vincent for opening my ass and a lot of other people's ass about this conversation.
We want to know who's giving thanks to Vincent.
Okay, everybody. I've been a resident of Sauk Village for 3 years. I never knew.
Hold on. Speak the name again, please.
Okay. Hello, my name is Marquita Reeves. I have been a resident of Sauk Village for 3 years. I never once ever heard anything about the water being contaminated or anything. The news lady knocked on my door and told me was I using my water. I use my water every day. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't come to this meeting, I wouldn't have knew that I should not even be using the water. So now I'm taking the $3 you gave me to wash my kids up, to prepare our food and everything. It's not enough. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not enough, but what I want to do is bring realization to this whole situation. This is a crisis. Right. No one should be without water. No one should be having to feed their kids with poisonous water. We should not have to pay a water bill. I agree with paying the garbage and the sewage portion. I paid that portion. I just didn't pay the water portion. But I just think that for a community, for everybody to say half of the community saying it's good, half of the community saying it's bad, I know my water is terrible. You know what I'm saying? And I've been paying for it for 3 years. And I did not know I was poisoning my babies, or maybe poisoning my babies, or poisoning myself. You know, so after y'all do get this stripping or whatever paid for, I think that we should not have to pay that water portion of the bill for at least a year or two, and at least a year or two, because of all the back pay that we already have paid out, you know, for contaminated water. You know, I'm not tripping on the garbage and the sewers because they need to be paid and they need to still pick it up. But I'm protesting against this law because it's not humane for nobody to have to drink filth. Everybody will say that's filth. I'm scared to take a bath. I'm taking a bath in a bucket of water, cold water. You know, I'm paying for water. I can't even use it. You know, I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm not going to use it because I see differences in my friend's skin. I'm not going to trust that. I don't know if y'all already not doing the stripping and the stuff coming on my skin. I don't know that. We can't trust what y'all saying is the truth because y'all went back and forth the first 2 days. One day it was, we shouldn't use it at all, and the next day it was, it's fine. You know, that's kind of like, I don't know what to believe. I don't know who I can trust. Who is up there for me? There's only one person that's speaking for me and some of the majority of this people up here. I just want my mayor to be a full-time mayor, to care about my opinion and other people's voices. I would never, ever, ever, I don't care if your job is full-time, I would never, ever, ever would have stated that, or let my people that work with me stated that I'm a part-time mayor. I don't care, he's not here right now, he's not here right now, period. Whether you're part-time or full-time. It just made me feel like you don't really want to be a full-time mayor. So they'll even say you're a part-time mayor. That was just ridiculous. That was just, no, that was misawful. And it just made you think that maybe you're not going to be fully committed to this process. Because you're going to be mayor every day. You're not just going to be mayor for 4 hours or 6 hours. You're going to be mayor every day, all day. If I see you at the store, what's up, mayor? You know what I'm saying? It's not just going to drop off the clock. You know, you're still going to be my mayor. I'm still going to confront you as being my mayor. You know, so that was for me. I would love to see some more of you all around here at the stores and all that stuff, because I haven't seen anybody yet. So I would love to see some more
Before
of
you
you all
leave, let me
around.
address the part-time mayor. That's what the law of this village called for, is this position be a part-time mayor.
Okay, but
So I don't have any control over whether I'm a part-time mayor. I was elected as a part-time mayor. In the event that the village want a full-time mayor, then the citizens will have to vote for it.
I still feel that mayor, period, is full-time. I can care less on if you get paid part-time or not. Like I said, after 4 hours, you still mayor.
Your time is up, but I'm a full-time mayor, because I'm here all the time, and I'm on the clock. I'm on the clock all the time. Anybody have my telephone number, cell number, anybody have my email, I respond to all of it. So I'm a full-time mayor with a part-time salary.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to say, my name is Kayla Garner. First and foremost, I've been staying in Sauk Village for 3 years. And I just wanted to make a comment about, like, you guys we're back here looking from the outside in. Your body language is speaking volumes, you know? We might not know all the truth about what's going on because I feel like it's just a system. You guys have the corruption, even the people above you, way above you. And we don't need nothing to you know, like the real world. So all the situation that's going on, you know.
I can't cut you off. Yeah. Because we only addressing.
I'm addressing everything. I'm addressing what we talked about today.
But okay, if you're going to address what we're talking about, then please stick to the agenda. I appreciate.
Yes, as far as the comments discussed in this meeting, I'm just saying that you guys' body language speaks volumes. You guys look guilty. Come on now. We don't need a court to prove that. And I just pray that you guys would take responsibility as a team, personally, and for the village you work for. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to pay for it. And I hope you can speak well of that.
Hi, everyone. This is
just want to say, as far as the trustee committee, that's no team going up there speaking together. I want to thank the police department, the fire department, and Ms. Smith. As far as the water, I'm wondering how long it's going to go for us to keep getting 3 gallons of water. My kids have eczema, but the water is adding on. We used to get a small container, now we're getting big. No good. I'm being told to take my children in. They're complaining about stomach aches. I will do that as soon as I leave here. I felt this was important. As far as the mayor, I don't know much about you, heard things about you. I'm going to take my own beliefs. You are a full-time mayor. I'm going to believe that within you. But you have a team up there that's not even backing you up. You have people out here that is backing you up. I just say that for you and everyone on the committee and everyone that's in here, we need good water. And if you can push the buttons to get them, I said push the buttons. Every last one of them, I don't care if it's you. Thank y'all.
Yes, my name is Courtney Matt. I have been a resident for my 3rd year here in Sauk Village. And I'd first like to ask a question about Section 2, Part B, about the right to veto the motion to segregate the funds. We have enough things going on as it is. And from what we've seen tonight, there's no segregation on the board to show that we need to segregate the board funds, and that we need to try and work cohesively and conducively as possible. And we need to work towards getting as many things done as possible. I think it's in our best interest to, if you're getting revenues from that, put it in the general fund. That's what it's for. We're currently at a deficit. If you're going to have 15 different accounts to do, then I think Ms. Turner should go and hit 15 different accounts every week and get the money from that. We shouldn't have a problem with that. Am I right, Mr. Burgess? Am I right, Mr. Haynes? Second of all, as for the airstrip, it seems to be a waste of time.
And money.
And money. I don't know why the EPA is recommending it. I don't know why they are mandating it. Our infrastructure, extracurricular of the airstrip, our infrastructure has been crumbling for the last 45 years. It needs to be repaired. I don't know where the funding is coming from for that, but it needs to be repaired. Before we can get one drop of Lake Michigan water, before we can even clean up the water we have, somebody's got to fix the broken pipes.
Right. That's how they got it.
We don't have the pipes fixed. We don't have the system. I don't care if you strip the air, if you dance with the air, if pee in the air. You don't have it working. Air stripping is something akin to what I used to do on my job. And it was iron exchange to water. You can iron exchange it. It may remove some of the contaminants, it may not. But and considering how well the water is here, and I did work with well water as well as lake water, and we had to iron exchange all of it. I used to make the sweetener that goes in pop. If you don't iron exchange it and you don't remove all the contaminants, it gets into the water, it affects the taste, it affects everything. You can try to remove it, but if you don't keep that resin fresh, you're just wasting your time and money.
That's right.
Agenda. We need to stop this.
I just got a question. I had several people tell me that there's a certain trustee on the board who is not paying their water bill at all. Now, I want to know is it true? And if it is true, how come he's not paying what we are?
Bring it, if you got information like that, that is not, bring it next to us.
My name is Maria Harrison. I moved here in 2006. And I used to live in the
city had city water all the time. And I lived in an apartment for 10 years, never not once had to have my landlord come in and redo my pipes. I've been here for 7 years, and I redid my pipes already for 3 years. And I'm a single mom trying to make it, and this water is really not good at all. And I just put a new bathroom downstairs, and my shower is already turning yellow, and that's costing us money too. When you got a single parent that's trying to keep up the house, and the water's no good, it makes us even downward where we don't have money to even pay mortgage anymore. So to me, it should be thinking about not stripping, just redoing the whole Lake Michigan water where everybody in the village can turn out and live a decent life and not have to throw money away constantly. That's my thing for water.
Ed Frankel, Sauk Village, for coming. You kind of notice that there's more and more seats getting up on the dais. We've got seats down in front here. Employees and things sit down here, not elected officials. They're all elected officials up there. Excuse me? Pardon?
That's not on the agenda.
On the agenda. All right. We didn't hear a temporary appointed police chief report. He was gone out of the room down the box ago. I'd like to hear a report from the police department. We've got a large scale of crime going on in town. I'd like to hear him report this. He wasn't making a report, I'd like to hear it now.
They gave him a report, so I don't know where it went, but he did give a report.
Okay. You don't take orders, you give them? You know this guy told me? He doesn't take orders, he gives them. I'd like to know where to report it.
Chief, you don't have to answer again.
He gave this gentleman the authority to stop the linebacker. People sit there and listen to you all night long. He comes up and tells you that's the end of it. That's all you thought. Nobody else can talk to us. What's up with this?
Yes, sir.
Larry Stewart, 21741 Dealey, Housing Authority Commissioner. I've been here since 1999. My family's been here 29 years. I'm going to stay according to the agenda. Approval of accounts payable and disbursements for times shown. These things are all well and good. The board is voting. Democratically, a majority rules. This is how we do things in this country. The majority rules. But right now I'm looking at it where, with the majority, do we understand how much money we have? I've been looking for an audit since the first of the year, so I'll know exactly where we stand financially. But it seems like these things are being put off. Last Tuesday, the audit was on the agenda, and it was superseded by this water issue to where I still can't drink the water today. I won't be able to drink it next week unless it comes in a bottle. I need it to where, as a unified board, I've got 3, 4, 5 trustees would vote or try to put together a movement to get an audit. Do you all agree on that? Just so we'll know where we stand. I mean, I understand we may not get the audit this year from what I've seen. Not until after the election. This was wrong. We're spending money. We just bought water. We bought it, whether we understand it or not. It was nothing free. If you got water, you will be paying for it. Show me how we're going to be paying for it by having an audit. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I am Francine Anderson, and I'm at 16
1606 216th Street, Sauk Village. I have several questions, and then you can answer them, and then I have several statements in my 3 minutes. First of all, I'd like to go to your accounts payable. You asked the questions about Parks and Rec. I am on page 2. And under the general fund, it says administration. It says professional services rendered. Delgado Law Group at 579. Professional services at $19,175.05. And then it also says 1542. Olson and Sturts, professional services, which is at $41,482.64. That was what was approved by, I believe, the board just a few minutes ago. But I am really perplexed because on the front of the accounts payable on page 1, it says that only paid a portion. Paid Delgado 5,000 of the 19. So now, did you approve the 5,000 board, or did you approve the 19,000? I am perplexed. Again, Olson and Sturts, you said on the front page of your accounts payable that $21,482 was being paid, partial, but then on the other page, when you approved the $41,000. So please, can you let me know?
On the account payable, it does show what the actual bill is, but there's a partial payment because the board voted on to make a partial payment on both of those account payables.
Okay, so then you're telling me that the total here on page 2, the $60,657.69 needs to be correct.
That is the total amount.
That is due?
That is due. The board voted to not to pay the 19 in full, nor to pay the 482 in full. They voted to pay a part of those to those for professional services.
Okay, then I would ask the board that maybe the lawyer needs to relook at it. Maybe you need to go back and re-amend the motions that you did approve. Because I am truly perplexed, because it looks as if you have approved the 60,000 instead of the 42,000.
I believe on the front, I know you probably don't have account payable, but on the front it states there that partial, right on the front it says that for to pay Delgado Law Group $5,000 off the 19,175.5. And to pay Olson and Sturts the balance of 21,482.64, and not the whole 60.
The 60, right. 60. So for the public to understand, Mr. Ronald, someone make a statement so that we'll know that you're not adding it to the totals that appears here, because that's the way it appeared to me. Mr. Mayor, my second question would be on the veto the board's motion. You said not to bring up water today, but I think it's imperative that we do talk about it, because I see that this board is trying to raise the money to $10.37 per 1,000 gallons, in which I know that this whole town did not misinterpret the referendum, in which the referendum was very clear. It said $6.80. So it didn't say that we gave you permission to put the $6.80 on top of your, no it didn't, because we read very well. And if so, if it read that way, then you misled the whole total public of this town. And that's not what it said. By mandate of the residents didn't read it that way. So if you gave it to us and misled us in that way, then I hope that some other citizens will be prepared to deal with you in a different kind of manner legally. Because I think you really totally misinterpreted. And if you gave it to us that way, if that was your interpretation, then the information you gave the public did not say that.
Get them all out.
I've had it tested. It can remove vinyl chloride, but it won't solve like wherever the problem's coming from. It would just take care of the residents' household from when the water
you, sir.
At this time, we'll take miscellaneous comment from the board.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I have a question. Is there a time limit, or is there a time limit or a quota of how many people that can ask questions at a certain time? I mean, are you cutting it off at a certain time? I'm just asking a question.
If you're going to comment, you have to be in line.
She was in line.
I just asked a question. The only question I asked was if a person is there, you
We
comment.
will entertain anybody that's in the line, and we've always done that.
Okay, the reason I'm asking, sir, the reason I'm asking, if a person is handicapped or can't stand up a long time and they have to sit down, and then they get back up when it's closer to their time to talk. I mean, if you saw that person standing in line and they had to sit down because of health reasons, shouldn't that person be allowed to talk? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
If the person is prepared to talk, they should be pretty close to getting up when the last person is in.
My question was, when a person was in line, and the line is long, and they cannot stand up a long time, and they sit down, but they were in line, and they sit down, are they allowed to come back and ask a question? That was just a simple question.
The answer to your question, trustee, if one person is the last person and nobody behind that person, then anybody else that wants to make a comment should be in their line. They should wait until they go for anything else and then get in line. Anybody knows that if the last person there, if I'm going to make a comment, and while that person's standing there, that's the last one in line, I should get up.
If there's somebody who did not get an opportunity to ask a question, and they have a question, get in line.
Let me make this clear. We had 4 people get in line. The last person in line was the young man there. He got up. There was 4 people after I told him. The sergeant said this is the last person in line. So that's it. That's when you cut the line off right there.
Trustees for the hearing residents.
We are not going to continue to allow it after the public comment is over tonight. After the last person in line, should be at this time, I'm here from the board of trustees for their comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Betts.
Mr. Mayor, I want to thank all the citizens. I want to thank all the citizens who have came down and still coming down to assist with our water distribution process. It's been going smooth. People are understanding what we are doing there. And I would like to say that there will be more times when everybody can come out and give a helping hand. Like it was said earlier by the mayor, we do in the village clerk, we do have a process where we cannot come down and receive water. We can't get it to you. There's no problem. Listen, I'm going to all the confusion so that. I want to say this, that a statement that was made earlier about me that I didn't remember what the vote was last week on the 19th, Thursday, July 19th, where I have the agenda right here, and I wrote on my agenda that the two motions that was voted on carried, and the motion reads, a motion to direct the administration to immediately order the temporary airstrippers to remedy the problems as put forth by the EPA. Nothing about who, where, when, and why. That's what I voted on. I voted yes for that. And the second motion was to approve the purchase of the bottled water for public distribution. According to the Sauk Village Emergency Plan, there was no vote on Thursday or Tuesday to bring in Robinson Engineer or Baxter Woodman for air stripping. There was no vote to my knowledge. This is what we voted on, and if there's nothing to say about those two engineering firms. Those two engineering firms, Robinson and Baxter, sat right there. If you were here Thursday, they sat right there in front of everyone that was here. If you were here, you saw those two engineering firms and you heard what I said. We did not vote for any of them to bring in the water stripper. So that was incorrect. According to July 19th, what I had, that I voted with. So that is wrong. They're wrong. Also, let me say this.
Thank you, David. Then it's over. Let everybody leave. Ain't nothing no change. Just go. Last protest, just walk out, because it's over. They only gonna listen to one side. What's your mayor? It's only one side of the story. You ain't going that way, they going. You going out.
Steve got up and said something inappropriate. You think you're doing inappropriate mess up in here. Y'all been getting away with stuff too long. Anybody else been removed by now? Move. You too. I'm willingly go, but you come on, go with me. Come on. Since I gotta go, let's go. Whoever told me you too, let's go. All of us, come on. Since I gotta go, you gotta go, let's go.
It's too much racism. I thought we were over this.
I gotta go.
Too much racism. It's supposed to be over.
What a clock.
I still have the floor, Mr. Mayor, but if you want me to waste my time, I will, to the motion, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, it has been said that I have done nothing in the village since I've been a trustee on this board. Well, let me say this. When I first was appointed by the people of this village as a trustee, you yourself put me over Parks and Recs. When I took over Parks and Recs, one of our main programs was the Sauk Village Beauty Passion. We had at that time when I first came in, Miss Sauk Village. Sauk Village, the Sauk Village Pageant. So what I did was I added the men to that. And we had Mr. and Miss Sauk Village, Mr. and Mrs. Sauk Village Jr., and Sauk Village Liberty. Before myself, that pageant, after that pageant was ran, before I took it over, I don't think the pageant winners, which was 3 females, did anything outside of that village. What I did when we recreated it, what we did was, the committee and myself, we put the program, all the kids, into 2 parades, Chicago Heights 4th of July parade, and the Evanston, Illinois 4th of July parade. It was a very beautiful event, and the kids had fun, those that went. They had dinner with the mayor and his wife. They was given tickets for the water park in Great America, something that they never did. Not to mention that they were also on 2 radio shows, something that they never did before. I exposed them to something that the person who had it before never did well. We also, my committee and myself, we also brought in the Christmas with Santa committee. We gave away over 100 bicycles. We had breakfast with Santa, and it was a wonderful event. Kids was everywhere. It went smooth, it was beautiful, they had a wonderful time. We maintained all the events that was already here. The Easter egg hunt, the corn and dog grills. We assisted the mayor with the back to school program, with the carnival. The Parks and Rec was moving forward. But in my quest to do better and improve on Parks and Rec, the board thought it was fit to remove me from Parks and Rec. Trustee Burgess, Trustee Hanks, Trustee Williams, Trustee Myers, they all voted to remove me from Parks and Rec, a program that was very, very well on its way and doing great. But I guess when something is moving forward, they don't want change. And that's the truth. The mayor could tell you that. This water program is very, very important. Once again, I'm very sorry of how the village board has acted. People say that I'm pointing fingers. Well, understand this. If the public don't know what's going on, how can the public make the change? It's up to the public to make the change. And somebody needs to inform them on what's happening.
You got that light.
Now you see where our problem is coming from. That's one of the problems right there. We're trying to work things out to the best of our ability, but we have some people in the audience who work with these 5 trustees to cause confusion. And that's all they've been causing since we've been up here on this podium, the mayor and myself. That's all they've been causing. And that is the truth. That's not pointing fingers, that's the truth. And if I'm guilty of telling the truth, then throw me in jail. Nobody in here can say or want to say what I've said these few days, these few weeks, these 3 years since I've been here. And I'm going to continue to do that because we cannot move forward. It is sad that we act the way we act. And you want to know why it's on YouTube? You want to know why it's all on the video, the conversation and the way this board is acting? You know why it's broadcast around the world? Because a member of this board family is doing it. They putting it on YouTube. They get it from this camera guy back here. They give it to a member's wife, and she puts it on YouTube. For a village official to allow his spouse or her spouse to do that is very inappropriate. and cares nothing about this village. It's making us look bad, very bad, and that is just plain sad. But in order for this village to move forward, it's going to take the actions of every law-abiding citizen in this village to make that change. You see it, you hear it, you people are not dumb. Nobody out there is dumb. You are the smartest people, you see what's going on. How can we allow this to take place? Some of your trustees, you hear them up here. The mayor has not put a time limit on the trustees. If there was a time limit, I would have, whatever time limit he would have put it on the trustees, I would abide by those time limits. I have great respect for the mayor, and you see that up here. But you see the other members, this is the problem. This is the problem that we have. The village manager, the finance director, they have to hear this every day from these trustees micromanaging their job. It's sad that she cannot do her job without being hassled by the trustees. Once again, we are legislators only. We are not to run the everyday operation of the village. It is the village manager's job with orders from the mayor. Please, you have a right to demand accountability from each and one of us up here. No one is above the law. And when we think we are, this is why we have the confusion on the board and in our village. A lot of money has been taken out of this village. A lot of money. And it has to stop. And you are the only one who can make a difference. God bless us all. Thank you.
All I wanted to say was the residents that, when I gave the information about the Illinois Tollway, if they want to get in contact with me, I will be here for that part of it. Right after the meeting to let them know where the jobs are and how to apply for them. And that was all. And also the economic development meets the second Thursday of the month at 7 o'clock here. That's all I wanted to say. I said everything. And I'm just again sorry that you guys had to sit through this. I really am. And this is not what a meeting is supposed to be about. And I mean, you know, this is a business meeting. I'm just saying, I really am. That's why I have nothing else to say that you had to sit here and hear that.